Hi, I'm Charlotte Voisey and welcome to The Proper Pour. Every part of the country has a varied history in cocktail culture, what type of drinks were created there and when, and that, coupled with the seasonality of the produce that grows there, provides countless inspirations for me to create new cocktails. One of my favorite places to spend time is South Carolina, and that has been the inspiration for this next drink, which is called the South Carolina Swizzle. It's a cocktail that's based on Hendrick's gin, so that's going to be my first ingredient, 1.5 ounces as the base. And for the other ingredients in this cocktail, I've really let the natural environment, the local surroundings kind of inspire me. One thing that Georgia and South Carolina are famous for are fresh peaches. Now sadly they're not always in season, so it's useful to have a standby, a great other cocktail ingredient that is always in season, such as the beautiful apricot liqueur from the Bitter Truth. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1/2 ounce of this. Now keeping the cocktail nice and fresh, I've chosen lime as my citrus, 3/4 ounce of fresh lime juice. And that gets squeezed straight into the mixing glass, once I've measured it, of course. And then to cut the lime, some simple syrup. I'm going to stick to a equal part 1:1 sugar and water. And just to spike this drink with a little something interesting, I'm going to use a dash of Yellow Chartreuse. When I say a dash, I mean a 1/4 ounce. So you can measure that out and pour that in. There's a reason that I've used Yellow Chartreuse in this cocktail, and if you want to find out why, you'd better pick up a copy of the Savoy cocktail book and have a little dig around towards the beginning of the book. I'll leave it at that for now. Right, ready to shake up this cocktail. Now I mentioned in the beginning that it's a swizzle, so you might be waiting for me to perform the swizzle action, because that's how these drinks really got their name. But based on the ingredients and the start of this cocktail, I'm actually going to stray away from the classic technique, and I'm going to shake and strain over crushed ice. So little ice in my shaker. Let me give this a good shake. And I've got a nice glass prepared with some crushed ice. Just going to drain that off so some of the ice melt comes out of the glass, just to keep the ice nice and dry. And this is a very refreshing drink for those hot, balmy summers down in the Charleston area. So we're just going to let this trickle all over that crushed ice. In South Carolina, Kentucky, the south of the country, this was the area back in the early 1800s that the juleps were first made. So just as a nod to that heritage, I'm going to use a mint sprig for the garnish, one you might expect to find in the julep. And just a word of advice for you, if you're setting up a bar at home to create cocktails for a party, it's really important that you keep your ingredients fresh and looking their best. And one tip for mint is to pick out the best looking sprigs and then place them, like I've done here, upside down in cold water, never ice, just cold water. And then when you're ready to make a show and dress your bar and garnish the cocktails, you're just going to pull them out, brush off that water, and now you've got some beautiful, pert, fresh-looking mint, and we can just pick one off, brighten it up, and there we have the perfect garnish for the refreshing South Carolina Swizzle.